Everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everyone, Cantonese Cat here. Ethereum monthly chart. I haven't talked Ethereum for a very long time. Part of the reason was because it had big breakout, and it was kind of hitting around $4,000 in a hurry. Just in a short period of time, went from less than $2,000 to $4,000 in just less than half a year. And I haven't really talked too much about it, made too many videos about it, just simply because things have kind of went way far, way too fast. And kind of expecting a little bit of a pullback. The question is, how far is pullback going to go back to before you see a bullish continuation? And right now, I'm starting to see that we might be at a pretty decent level to really kind of start getting a little bit more bullish on it in the short term. Longer term, I still think that some of the higher levels are achievable. I still think that for something that's this deflationary, that is actively having token burning, that you're actually we went through the merge, no longer have any mining supplies. You're talking about a stick supply, and the stick supply has actually been very, very low in terms of growth. And when altcoin season starts to come on, I think this thing is going to take off like crazy, and altcoin season hasn't really started yet. So Ethereum has been a pretty good position for a breakout. I think it's just kind of been taking a little bit of a breather in terms of its technicals, but I definitely think some of the higher levels around here, especially like 1.618 or 2.618 levels, could potentially be meet in the year 2025 or so. I think it's definitely a possibility based on the strong bull trend that it just is building. This is the Ichimoku cloud that you're seeing here. The Ichimoku cloud basically serve as either resistance or support. As you can see that it kind of served as resistance for a couple of months, but once price broke above the Ichimoku cloud, it just didn't really look back. And once price broke above the Ichimoku cloud, you have the Tenkan line over here, and you have a Kijun line over here that kind of crossed. The Tenkan is a leading line, that the Kijun is the lagging line here, and you can see that the monthly Tenkans typically serve as support during the bull market to push price up a lot higher. And when price, when Tenkan crosses over, the Kijun generally have a bullish cross that is building up a pretty significant bull trend over a longer period of time, potentially for about 12 to 24 months or so. The last time it crossed was really kind of back over here, and it precipitated a huge 2-year bull run for Ethereum. And I think we're just maybe at the beginning stages over here. I think it could potentially keep on going all the way to maybe even mid 2025 or so. Although we have to play by ear, right? I need to look for trend exhaustions and things like that. But this looks like it could just be the beginning of a bull trend, is what I'm kind of seeing here. Now, whenever price gets too far from the Tenkan on the monthly, that's when you start to see that the risk level is elevated. For example, you see that it's just been kind of riding the Tenkan here, and when price got a little bit too far from the Tenkan, guess what happened? It wicked down here and actually went back down here as a candle closed right at the Tenkan, actually closed a little bit below it the month after that, went back down, used that as support, push price higher. I think we might be seeing a little bit of consolidation over here because $4,000 is just way over the Tenkan down here. The Tenkan right now is, if I just pull up the value, the Tenkan right now is at 2,800. So 4,000 is much greater than 2,800, right? But 330, not that much greater than 2,800. So I think we're still within a reasonable range. I would like to see the Tenkan kind of catch up over time to kind of help push the price higher, and I think it will. But we're just experiencing a little bit of consolidation here because of that. Another thing too is it's just kind of pushed above from one Fibonacci retracement level to another like it's nothing. These Fibonacci levels were calculated from all-time high to the cycle low. And you have these Fibonacci levels that's been kind of respecting pretty well. You can see the kind of certain resistance here and here, broke back above, back tested it, couldn't hold, went below it, got a little bit rejected over here, went above it to the next level, 0.382, got rejected for a couple months, finally just pushed back above. Guess where it got rejected at? Right at the 0.618, broke above it next month. Now it's trying to back test it. Right now the price is kind of a little bit below that, but it's forming a little bit of a wick over here. So there's a potential that this could just be like, a little bit of a wick down before its bullish continuation, or maybe kind of bounce sideways here for another month or two before going up, waiting for other indicators such as I was showing you, such as the Tenkan, to kind of catch up a little bit, to kind of push price a lot higher. You also have a lot of whale buying pressure over here too. And you can see the Blackhead L3 Banker Fund Flow Trend Oscillator has just turned positive inflow ever really since in February 2024. And whenever something like that happened, kind of like what happened over here during the last cycle, whenever something like that happened, price can continue to go up for a very long time. So we might just be at the beginning of this potential bull cycle here, which is quite promising. Now, another way to look into the monthly chart of Ethereum, I'm going to put the Bollinger Band here. Another thing that you know that the risk level has gotten a lot higher is if you look at the Bollinger Band, it is expanding, which is great. Price is riding along the upper Bollinger Band up, really ever since just a couple months ago. It just simply went way too far, way too fast, went above the upper Bollinger Band. It did touch it a little bit, have a wick down underneath, kind of hang on to it a little bit here. But generally, the Bollinger Band sometimes can act as like a magnet. You just can't really have price going up that far ahead without having any significant correction or kind of sideways action, especially at the beginning of part of the bull market. I'm going to show you the previous cycle here too, and let you see what Ethereum did, right? If you look at Ethereum and maybe at the beginning of the bull cycle, you can see that over here it kind of went way above, and gravity got pulled down over here, right? I think the same thing kind of happened over here. Gravity pulled down the next month, went up closing inside the Bollinger Band, went sideways, closed inside Bollinger Band again for another month before another explosive move up. And whenever you get like these kind of move up here, you're going to end up having some sideways. It just couldn't keep on going up like that, right? Got dragged all the way down, pulled down. This candle even closed way above the upper Bollinger Band. So it doesn't always have to. And I think as things get really, really impulsive, once things really start going, this is like the wave 3 of alien wave theory. Whenever things get really parabolic, you can see that the candle could potentially close outside the upper Bollinger Band, and it can end up being very, 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 very impulsive for a very long time until it isn't, right? Look at this wick right here. That's ridiculous. Like the Bollinger Band down here was what, like 27, 2800, 23, 2400. But the candle over here, it wicked all the way up to like 4,300. Like it's just way far above. Price dragged it back down here, ended up forming a little bit of a bull flag over here, and ended up closing, inside the upper Bollinger Band for a couple of months before his bullish continuation, finally followed by trend exhaustion and breakdown. Right now, I think we're just at the beginning stages of it. You know how I also think this at the beginning stages, just because the 20-month moving average just started to point up for about months number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is really the 5th month where the Bollinger Band has just been going up like that. And it doesn't look like it's really necessarily slowing down anytime soon. Bollinger Band expansion also just happened. So what happened last time, we see something very similar when you have uptrend here for months number 3, 4, 5. We have kind of some sideways action over here, didn't we? It looks like we're kind of right around here where the bull market has just started, and we're just kind of going sideways. Just trying to stay a little bit more reasonable. I think we're right around here compared to what the cycle over here. I think we're going to be right around here, which means there might be a lot more room for Ethereum to go up. Of course, all of this is depending on the economy. All of this is depending on fundamentals. All of this depends on whether or not the money is there. But I think that there is still a trend for having, potentially having increase in global liquidity coming in, especially for this year, which is an election year. Doesn't seem like the money is going to stop coming in anytime soon. Certainly seem like China's been printing a lot of money here as well. So there are some signs here that mirrors what happened over here in this last cycle. And I want to keep buying Ethereum as long as it's less than $4,000. I mean, I'm just glad that when prices went all the way up like here, I was like, I don't like this. Thank goodness we have another month or two to buy. I personally appreciate this. That's my thoughts on Ethereum. I also want to go through a couple of altcoins that I'm also very interested in. Now, when it comes to altcoin, I'm not talking about like some of the larger cap ones. At this point, I already have a position in Chainlink. I already have a position in Matic. I already have a position in like Cardano. I already have a position in some of the other ones. I also talk a lot more about like things like Cortesi, Cody, Jasmine coin is also another one that I enjoy a lot. But I have been, looking at a lot of these larger than mid cap coins here, and now I'm really starting looking more interested in some of the really small really small market cap coins. For example, one that I've been looking at is AMP. If you look at AMP, basically what AMP has been doing is it's just had a big wedge breakout. This whole thing right here, these are monthly candles. And AMP has been around, this is Coinbase, AMP is around on Coinbase since June 2021. And it's just been going straight down, forming a very nice wedge over here. As soon as it broke out this wedge, it just went pretty impulsive, right? It almost looked like it was kind of rejected here at the 0.136 Fibonacci level. And it's just been kind of going sideways because it just went way, what did I say? It just went way above the monthly upper Bollinger Band, right? Went sideways. Could it go sideways for another month? Potentially. But I just kind of like this setup over here. It looks very impulsive. It's dragging upper Bollinger Band up, most likely. And the 20-month moving average has just turned from resistance over here to support. Now it's starting to curl up over here. The one thing, what the biggest thing I like about AMP is? It's got a small market capitalization. The market cap is less than $400 million, which is really nothing. There are a bunch of people talking about like fundamentalist coin, things like that. I do think that there are use cases for this, and the price has just been absolutely monstrous over the last few months. And I think it might have just gotten started over here because the 20 moving average just started to curl up over here after it being such a vicious downtrend for about like 2.5 years. You're really starting to kind of break out here. So I think that once you have a trend breakout, it could potentially go on for longer than you expect. So I do have a position in this. I keep these small. I don't try to go crazy because they are smaller cap crypto. They are illicit altcoins. I do try to keep them as small as possible. But I like where this is going based on what I'm seeing. Now, in addition to just looking at the Bollinger Band, if you just look at the Ichimoku Cloud, it also looks like something pretty significant has happened, right? The Tenkan has flipped from resistance to support, to support, to support. So far, the Kijun is coming down over here. I think it might potentially serve as a little bit of resistance. Price might end up going sideways for another month or so. But you might end up having a Tenkan Kijun cross on monthly, can end up pushing price a lot higher. So I like the risk-reward setup over here for AMP. AMP is the name, is available on Coinbase, and I do have a position in this. So this is one of the coins that I'm interested in. The other coin that I've been having a very small position in is NKN. This is also available on Coinbase. There are a couple of things also like about NKN is first of all, the market capitalization is also very small. It's just 130 million market cap, which is like nothing. It's available at Coinbase. Some of these smaller cap coins on Coinbase generally tend to perform relatively well during a bull market. Liquidity just tends to flow into them. I mean, you're not talking about 100 or 200x, but generally you're able to get some potentially pretty good gains from this. This looked a little bit kind of like what Dogecoin is looking like to me. You got a little bit of a consolidation, a little bit of a Adam and Eve kind of picture over here. You got a little bit of Adam and Eve bottom over here. And then once you've got the cross of the monthly Tenkan and Kijun, which looks like it could be about to happen pretty soon, price just can go pretty parabolic relatively quickly. Looks like this is really starting to have a little bit of a bull trend here. The Tenkan was served as resistant for so long, and it finally for a whole year over here, and finally got flipped into support. And right now we're battling the Kijun right up top over here. We're not even talking about challenging Ichimoku Cloud over here yet. There is a potential for it to go back to all-time high and even beyond. Some of the targets I'm showing you right around here. Right now, this thing is 17 cents. I have a small position. There's no guarantee it's going to go to $4 or $2.50. There's no guarantee of anything like this happening. This is straightly a technical play, and I also want to caution against using too big of a position here. I just see a good technical setup, and I'm just going for it. A lot of the illiquid, small cap altcoins are looking kind of like this, and this is a pretty good look for that. The other way to look at it is also it's beneficial to look on a weekly on the Ichimoku cloud, which actually tells you a lot better in terms of what it's doing. On the weekly, last time, as you see it, when it broke above the Ichimoku cloud, it just reaches a point of no return and just went way higher, right? So far, we finally, the Ichimoku cloud is serving as resistance for a very long time over here, and it finally broke above the cloud and back tested the cloud past so far. So that can actually build a lot more further energy for NKN to go a lot higher. This is also the case if I go back to AMP. This is also the case for AMP2, where it broke through the Ichimoku cloud, and as you can see, resistance at the Ichimoku cloud for a very, very long time. Ichimoku cloud is actually a very good way to look at all these small cap altcoins. If you're interested in look at the weekly, it really shows you a pretty clear picture. Once it's trying to break up underneath like this for a very long time, it's going to break. The more it kind of eats into the supply over here, the more it's trying to attack the resistance, the more likely it's going to end up breaking. And sure enough, it broke above. And when it broke above, it went parabolic. And when it went parabolic, went way too far, way too fast. What ends up happening is you end up having a pretty significant pullback here, forming a nice bull flag that you can see over here, finding support in some of the weekly Tenkan and Kijun lines over here. But it's way above the cloud. Once things break above the weekly Ichimoku cloud, things tend to look a lot more bullish. And NKN is no exception. It broke above the cloud, and it's just been kind of hovering around the cloud here. I think it's going to back test over here, and whenever it's ready to go, it's ready to go. But it's still trying to break above this horizontal resistance level here that dates back to March 2021. Regardless, these are very, very bullish indicators that we're seeing here for higher high, higher low, higher high above the cloud, trying to find higher low before pushing up higher. So this is another one of the altcoins that I have. Again, I have a very small position. I don't want you to think that I'm going crazy into altcoin. I'm not. One that I also like a lot that's also available on Coinbase is Boba. Boba is a very, very, very small market cap altcoin. It's only got $81 million in market cap. What you're seeing here, if you look at it weekly, is looking a pretty clear thing here. Found some resistance here at the bottom of the cloud, broke above the cloud, broke into the cloud, went sideways here, broke above the cloud, and then the rest is history, right? It came back down to test some of the horizontal support levels down here. Initially, it broke back above and is trying to find some support over here up top at the previous all-time high on Coinbase. Not able to find support, broke down of it. The next level right here at the top of this volume shelf over here, and right at these horizontal level right around here. So I did end up, buying a little bit more boba today because it could potentially go down further. I mean, could it go down to some of the volume shelf down here? Sure. But this $81 million market cap, this thing is so illicit. This thing is so illiquid, not illicit, sorry. This thing is so illiquid that it doesn't take a whole lot of bull energy for you to really push price up a lot higher. And honestly, so far, there's not a whole lot of volume shelf right above it. I think once we're able to break back above this volume shelf, things can keep flying continuously for a very long time. If you look at the monthly it's not showing you too much. So far, it's still trying to break above the Tenkan on the monthly. The Kijun hasn't even really appeared yet. So the Tenkan is still serving as a little bit of resistance, but maybe not for long. I mean, so far it's forming higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Maybe not for long. The other thing to kind of show you too is that because this thing's been around for more than 20 months, you actually get the beginning of the Bollinger Band over here. It shows you a very clear picture as to what's happening. The 20-month moving average is just starting to curl up, meaning that a bull trend is coming. The upper Bollinger Band is showing itself, and the price got way far above the upper Bollinger Band, and it's just simply back testing upper Bollinger Band so far. The lower Bollinger Band is way down here, is being expanded like crazy because how impulsive price action has been. And the upper Bollinger Band is also expanding. Right now, it's just served as a magnet and pull price back down right here. So that's why I bought today. This is another one that I find to be a pretty favorable setup. Another one also that I also have a small position in is Soku. Soku is very, very small market cap. Soku is $20 million market cap. very, very, very small, very, very, very illiquid. It doesn't take a whole lot of dough to really move this thing up. As you can see, this is the monthly chart with Bollinger Band being shown here. You can see that the 20-month moving average is starting to turn positive. You can see that you have a breakout. The 20-month moving average serves resistance, breakout. And now price is way above the 20-month moving average, is causing the 20-month moving average to start crawl up here as a bull trend. Price went way above the upper Bollinger Bands. It really got pulled back down into this horizontal support zone over here, which has some price history, over here as well. And try and use that as support and see whether you can find support. Can it go down lower and test some of the supports below? That's fine, possible, right? Can it end up, if it ends up doing that, is it a bad thing? No, not necessarily. I mean, you're basically still seeing like it forming a higher low after a higher high, and it's still a bull trend. Does it have to end up doing that? No. So I'm eyeing this. I do have a position. I started a position right around here before it broke out. So could it come back down here? Sure. If it ends up going down here, I'm going to load up more. But I like this one because of such a small capitalization. It doesn't take a whole lot to really pump it. Now, in addition, looking at, let's put the Ichimoku cloud here and see what it's doing. It is turning the monthly Tenkan from resistance to support. So far, it's just basically back testing the support, which is also another reason why I think it might not necessarily have to go down any further. I think it's finding some pretty good support over here, and it could be a pretty decent risk-reward level to buy, because simply it's just doing this, breakout and back testing kind of here on the Tenkan as well as on this horizontal zone on this volume shelf over here. So this is actually looking pretty decent. What it means to have a super small market cap is that it really doesn't take a whole lot to push this a lot higher. And Soku is also available in Coinbase, by the way. And then finally, another one that I also have a position in, again, a small position in, is one that's called Inverse Finance. INV is the ticker symbol. This is also doing some very, very similar thing as Boba was doing, where you have the Tenkan here serve as resistance, still serving as resistance, but Tenkan is rising, and it looks like it's trying to challenge the Tenkan over here. And so it's having some pretty constructive price action. You put a Bollinger Band, it's not as bullish as the other one that I've shown you because the 20 moving average is still going down, but it looks like it's really, really seriously starting to flatten out here. And when it does, price could potentially go back down here for another month to back test this, and also back test this horizontal zone over here before going up higher. I still like the setup for this. Again, the Bollinger Band is squeezing, the 20-month moving average is kind of starting to curl down here. So I think that if you give this another year or two, I think things could be pretty constructive. And it does look like a very, very nice bottoming process over here. This looks like it's a beginning of a bull trend because you're forming higher high, higher low, higher high, and now it's just trying to find a higher low, maybe somewhere around here in the 40s. Maybe even here. Who knows? Maybe this horizontal zone is going to serve as pretty decent support because you do have a pretty nice volume shelf over here. It might end up serving as support over here, and it might end up just bouncing from here, or it can go down lower to the high 40s or even mid 40s. I'm okay with that. These things, as long as you can see a trend, as long as you know what's happening, I'm not really scared about the daily plus or minus 20% move for some illiquid altcoins such as this. This is not something that I'm really that concerned about. For INV, I think it's interesting to look at the Ichimoku cloud here. I want to show you the Ichimoku cloud for the weekly and what it's doing. It is serving as a resistance over here, but it broke it back above of it. Backtest, so far backtest has kind of failed a little bit. It looks like it's just kind of broken below. Who knows? I mean, could it go back down to the 40s down here, these volume shelf levels down here before bouncing up? Sure, but right now it is kind of broken back inside the cloud around here. There's a little bit of bearishness over here that you can see, but regardless, it's still forming higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, and just form a higher high. So wherever it ends up falling over here, may it be we bounce from here, may it be we bounce from the 40s, it's still going to be a higher low. I mean, even if it goes all the way back to the bottom of the cloud, it's still going to be a higher low, it's still going to be a bull trend. So I'm personally not that concerned. I think these things just might have just gotten started, and it's just started to the point where you're not really even seeing a full bull trend on the monthly, with the monthly 20 moving average is still not yet completely flattened. but it's gotten above it. So it's something that's good to pay attention to. And I do have a position in this. I started buying like maybe around here. But I'm no longer buying at this point. I'm just going to let it rise, see what happens. If it bounces back down to some of the more attractive levels down below, for example, it bounced to like 40, I might end up adding more. Anyway, those are the coins that I'm interested in. They're very, very small market cap. I also want to add that Inverse Finance has a $27 million market cap. These are tiny. It doesn't take a whole lot for you to push price up higher. And those are the ones that I'm interested in. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Bye.